Now, it's being described as one of the biggest heists in German history. Investigators are now trying to work out how thieves managed to steal valuables worth tens of millions of euros from a bank in the western city of Gelsenkirchen. Police believe a large drill was used to break through a thick basement wall to reach their loot.
Hundreds of furious customers descend on their bank, terrified that everything they own has vanished.
I have entrusted and invested all my savings here.
I didn't sleep last night. They are not giving us any information.
Emergency services discovered the break-in on Monday morning after the fire alarm went off. Firefighters and police officers searched the bank for a possible fire, but instead of flames, they found a hole in the basement wall and a ransacked vault containing cash, gold and jewelry worth tens of millions of euros.
If someone had a safety deposit box, there's a high probability that it was broken into because 90% of them have.
Some victims fear their losses may exceed the insured value of their boxes. I fear my mother's gold coin is gone. She passed away in 1988. My grandmother's gold bracelets, which I hoped would secure my daughter's future. Investigators are still piecing together how it all happened, but they believe the burglars used a nearby parking garage to gain access to the bank. Police say the evidence points to a highly organized operation.
I would definitely say this is quite spectacular. It is really unique compared to anything I've ever seen, heard or read. I have never heard of any similar case, except perhaps on TV.
No arrests have been made and perpetrators are still at large.
For more on this, we can speak now with Michael Levy. He's a professor of criminology at Cardiff University in the UK. Michael, we're going to show you some images on our screen right now, taken in the aftermath of this heist. Talk us through these pictures and what we can learn about how thieves pulled off this heist.
Well, one presumes that they had some level of inside information. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for them to work out what was alarmed and what wasn't, what would be the best technique of gaining access. And there may be some previous video footage from the street or from inside the bank that people will be combing through to see how they did it. But of course, long weekends, as in, for example, the Hatton Garden, London safe deposit robbery of some years ago, are not that uncommon a thing. They may be uncommon for the Sparkasse in this particular location, but they're not that uncommon, and people usually learn as a result of deconstructing how it was done on this particular occasion, to look out for the signs more carefully and to have some extra surveillance on long weekends. But it's a holiday season, and one may presume that there was less vigilance than there would otherwise be.
Now, investigators, of course, are going to be looking very closely at that scene that we just saw there at the bank. What do you think their main line of inquiry will be now for them?
Well, they'll be looking for dissatisfied employees or ex-employees or contractors who may have installed security at one time or another. So that would be the regular thing. There are questions about, well, why didn't the alarm go off earlier if it didn't? We know that the attention of people, looking at security at times like this is sometimes a little bit distracted, so they'll be investigating that. But as far as looking for the offenders goes, so they'll be looking for past and present staff, not just of the bank itself, but of security firms, which is one of the usual sources of information leakage.
Mm. Now, there have been many
And they'll be
spectacular...
looking for the backgrounds of...
Sure. I was just going to ask you about the about how this fits in compared to other heists of a similar nature. There have been many spectacular bank heists throughout history, of course. How would you rank this one in comparison to others that you've looked at?
Well, it's at the large end of the scale. Normally, when we only get a robbery, the proceeds are less. We don't actually know this estimate of 30 million is based on the insurance levels, which is what the bank may be responsible for, or its insurers may be responsible for. But actually, people may be storing a lot more valuables than are covered by the 10,000 insurance limit, because there might be proceeds of other crimes, including tax evasion, that people are hiding the proceeds of. And in a sense, every organization faced with this kind of thing has to think not just of their own experiences, but of other experiences. So I'd say that this is definitely at the high end. And of course, in practice, people think, is this at the high end for Germany, and how rare is this for Germany? The answer is it's rare, but it's a predictable sort of effect. And everybody, from a criminological point of view, we need to think about, why does this not happen more often?
Michael Levy, Professor of Criminology at Cardiff University in the UK, thank you very much.